The best way to fail at indie game development is to never try. But the argument could be made that if you never try, then you'll never actually fail. So let's assume you do try. Here's how to fail. So you want to make a first-person shooter, wait a second. Let me do that intro over again. The best way to fail at indie game development is to never try. But the argument could be made that if you never try, then you'll never actually fail. So let's assume you do try. Here's how to fail. Much better. So you're an indie dev, and your dream game is overscoped because you want to make a first-person shooter, which means you have a gun, and the view is from the eyeballs of the character you control. Sure, it's possible to make an FPS game without overscoping, but come on, we know you want to make CSGO. So prioritize making online multiplayer. Don't get distracted by making a compact and engaging single-player experience with interesting and creative mechanics that can only be accurately expressed with a first-person perspective. Instead, stick to the super basic default mechanics that are expected in any first-person shooter, and tell yourself that you can compete with Call of Duty, CSGO, Battlefield, PUBG, Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, and probably a whole lot more. Once people see you doing the exact same thing, just a whole lot worse, they'll for sure be like, yeah, I'd rather play that. When adding weapons to your FPS game, you can only have 4 types of guns: the normal gun, the sniper rifle, the shotgun, and the machine gun. Then balance these out by making the sniper rifle be just a normal gun with a scope, the shotgun only effective if you put the barrel up the enemy's nostril, and the machine gun have a spread that hits stuff behind you. These are the only 4 guns you can have, for this is the way of the FPS. There is no other way. When deciding where to position the player's gun on the screen, place it so that the player can see where they are shooting without needing crosshairs. People don't need to see stuff anyway, just their gun. Plus, having UI is bad. But I guess if you do add UI, make sure the player has all the information they might need. When making an FPS game, try to make the player feel like they're actually there. You know, by stifling their movement to a slow, flat glide forward that feels like they're sitting on top of a remote-controlled vacuum robot. Keep in mind, that's how Minecraft started out, and it became one of the most sold games ever. So that's what you should do too, because it's still 2011. I mean, sure, you could add all the game feel necessary to give the player the feeling like they have legs, but why would you do that? People would much rather feel like they have the mobility of a Dalek from Doctor Who. Speaking of movement, you need level design to complement your FPS game. Ideally, you will want to take advantage of the 3-dimensional space you can play in, so be sure to add a nice skybox. That way the player can look at stuff in every direction while they walk around in your super flat, basically just a maze style of map. Doing it this way is great because then you can plan it all out on paper really easy. You might ask, why not just make a 2D game? Well, that's what a first-person shooter is. It's just a 2D game, but you get to play it from the first-person perspective. Isn't that awesome? When making an FPS game as an indie dev, you have 2 choices for graphics. Either it's going to be low poly or a Doom clone. Doing one of these 2 doesn't mean you fail, I just thought I'd point out that that's all indie FPS games ever seem to be. It's just like the way it is. Boy, imagine if you made something different. But the best thing you can do is to remember that FPS games are never anything more than the mainstream idea of what an FPS game is. Indie devs should keep the FPS genre strong, making every FPS just a really, really bad version of Call of Duty. Oh crap, a slideshow of examples proving me wrong. Oh no, whatever shall I do? Oh darn, close your eyes, don't pay attention to all these games that were successful because they had creativity. Sorry about that, just ignore that last part please. And if you follow these instructions carefully, you are bound to succeed at failure. Hey, thanks for watching. This FPS episode has been a long time coming. Like I've been planning it. I've been planning it for a while. By the way, these outros, non-scripted, except 1 or 2. I've actually written what they do now, but most of the time it's literally just me like spewing whatever's in my brain, just put it right out onto the floor, and then I pick up the pieces and stick them in the back of this episode, and then that's what you get as the outro. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.